All right, let's dive right in. We're going to explore an idea that might just flip your whole understanding of yourself on its head. It's called the user illusion, and it challenges the most basic feeling we all have, that we are the ones in the driver's seat of our own minds. So let me just ask you, right off the bat, who's in charge in there? Who's calling the shots in your head? You'd probably say, well, I am, of course. But what if that feeling, that sense of I, isn't the real boss? What if it's more like a passenger, just watching a show that's already in progress?
To see what I mean, we have to start with this number. Every single second, your senses, your eyes, your ears, everything are being bombarded with a tidal wave of data. We're talking about 11 million bits of information from the world around you. That's like trying to download an entire encyclopedia every single second.
Okay, but here's the absolute kicker. Out of that massive 11 million bit flood, guess how much you actually process consciously? About 40 bits per second. 40. Not 40,000, not even 40,000, just 40. It's barely a drop in the ocean. So what on earth is happening to the other 99.999% of reality? Well, that's where things get really interesting. This enormous difference between what comes in and what we're aware of is explained by a really powerful metaphor, a way of thinking about consciousness called the user illusion. Think about the desktop on your computer for a second. It's clean, right? You've got these nice little icons for your files, a little trash can, you click on them, and stuff just happens. But you don't actually see the billions of electronic calculations, the whirlwind of ones and zeros, the complex code that makes it all work. The user illusion is the idea that our conscious self, the I we feel we are, is just like that desktop. It's a simple, easy-to-use interface that completely hides the mind-bogglingly powerful supercomputer running things in the background. And you know, this isn't some brand new idea. Way back in the 19th century, one of the greatest physicists ever, James Clerk Maxwell, said this. He had this deep feeling that his best work, his genius ideas, weren't really coming from him, but from something bigger, something deeper inside himself. Okay, so it's a cool metaphor, but is that all it is? Is there any hard proof that our conscious I is actually a step behind? Oh, there is, and the scientific evidence is where this gets truly bizarre. So back in the 1980s, a neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet set up this brilliantly simple experiment. He just wanted to find the exact moment that a conscious decision gets made in the brain. What he found ended up shaking the foundations of neuroscience. So check out this timeline. It's wild. Libet found that your brain shows a burst of unconscious activity, this readiness potential, to move your finger a full half second before you are even aware that you've decided to move it. Let me say that again. Your brain starts the action long before you get the memo. Your conscious choice doesn't kick things off. It just shows up late to the party. Yeah, just let that sink in for a minute. The part of you that you think of as you is one of the last to know what you're about to do. It seems like it's not the source of the decision. It just experiences the urge to act after the decision has already been put in motion. So, if we're not just this single conscious I, then what are we? Well, we need a better model to think about our inner world, one that actually includes all this hidden machinery. And this new model gives us two parts of ourselves. On one side, you've got the I. That's your conscious experience, the user, the slow editor, chugging along with its tiny 40 bits of data. But the real star of the show is the me. That's the unconscious supercomputer, the fast-processing author that's effortlessly juggling all 11 million bits. The I is what you feel like, but the me is what you really are. And you experience the power of the me all the time. Think about riding a bike. You're not consciously thinking, okay, lean left, pedal harder, adjust right. No, the me just handles it. Or when you're talking, words just come out. You're not planning every single syllable. The genius of a great soccer player, the lightning-fast draw of a gunslinger, that's not conscious thought. That is the highly trained, high-bandwidth me in action. So, this leads to a really important question. If our consciousness, our I, is only dealing with this tiny little sliver of information, what's the purpose of the unconscious me? It turns out its most important job isn't to collect information, but actually to throw it away. This brings us to this absolutely beautiful idea called exformation. It's basically the opposite of information. See, exformation is all the shared knowledge and context that we get to leave out in order to communicate. Real meaning isn't created by the few bits of data we actually say, but by the massive ocean of data we don't have to say. This story is the perfect example. Victor Hugo wants to know how his new book, Les Mis, is doing.
He sends a telegram to his publisher that's just a single character, a question mark. The publisher replies with a single character, an exclamation point. In just 2 symbols, a whole universe of meaning was exchanged: excitement, success, relief. Why? Because of all the exclamation, the massive shared context they both had. The meaning wasn't in the bits, it was in everything left unsaid.
Or here's another great one. Imagine a student tells their parents, "I'll only call you if something's wrong." So every day that the phone doesn't ring, a message has been sent, "Everything is fine." 0 information was transmitted, but the message was received perfectly. Again, it only works because of the exclamation, that shared understanding. The meaning is in the silence.
And that is the whole mind-bending point. The purpose of this incredibly powerful unconscious system isn't to show us all 11 million bits of raw reality every second. That would be completely overwhelming. Its true genius is its ability to discard almost everything and just present our conscious eye with a simple, useful 40-bit summary of what matters most right now. Consciousness is an act of knowing, it's a masterful act of ignoring.
Which leaves us with one final and pretty unsettling question. If your conscious self, your I, doesn't actually author your actions, but just gets to see them as they're happening, like an editor with a half-second tape delay, what does that really mean for free will? Are we writing our own stories, or are we just editing a script that's being written by something much deeper and much bigger than ourselves?